I normally don't do current event dog pile type content, but nobody seems to be pointing out what is incredibly obvious to me, that this company might be pulling off the greatest marketing stunt in the past decade. Today we're talking about Cracker Barrel. If you don't know, they rebranded recently and absolutely everybody hates it. This is not a political war thing where the left likes it and the right doesn't, or the right likes it and the left doesn't. No, everybody across the political spectrum has come out and said, we absolutely hate what you've done with this.
Look how they massacred my boy.
It genuinely might be the most unifying thing that has happened to the United States of America since 9/11, okay? Do you know how bad you gotta fuck up to, in 2025, get Donald Trump and Gavin Newsom on the same page? The official DNC Twitter account even said, we think the new Cracker Barrel branding sucks too. Okay, if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, I'm gonna rephrase it a little bit differently so we're all on the same page. Cracker Barrel, AKA a restaurant unironically and literally named Cracker Barrel that has been accused of LGBTQ discrimination and racial discrimination, and when you walk inside is decorated as though it's Minnie's haberdashery from the Quentin Tarantino movie The Hateful Eight, has rebranded and remodeled some of the restaurants, and they fucked it up so bad that even the woke leftists are like, no, the segregated bus stop vibes were better, bring it back. They've literally done such a bad job that it almost feels like it's intentional, and I think it might be, and we're gonna get into it right after a word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by Supremacy World War III. It is a free online PvP strategy-based game where you get to act out a military in modern day. You can pick a country, or you can play the US battleground, and you can pick your favorite state, which is my favorite way to play, and obviously I'm gonna pick Iowa every single time. I like to mix it up by attacking a different state every time. Sometimes I like to attack cold Minnesota. Sometimes I like to attack Nebraska and show them whose corn is better, but this time I'm probably gonna go ahead and attack Wisconsin because let's face it, they don't stand a chance unless it's a drinking competition.
One, we're not babies. And two, we're not that drunk.
But it gets better because right now for season 18, they have the cataclysmic mutation, which, you know, the only thing that can make World War III more entertaining is the introduction of zombies. So if you want to give it a try, it's free on both PC and mobile. And when you use my link and discount code down below, you're going to unlock an elite bomber that appears to be based off the B1, the bone. See what they did there? B1, bone, get it? Anyways, go ahead and check out the game. Let's get back to the video. All right, Cracker Barrel. We're going to start off with a little history, how the company came to be. Why? Because you got to understand where the company comes from to understand where it's going or where it should be going, right? Makes sense. So Cracker Barrel was started by a guy by the name of Dan Evans. Dan Evans was a Marine that joined after World War II, went, fought in Korea, came back home, worked a couple of different jobs, and then went to work in his family's oil company, going to gas stations, basically being a salesman for gas to small gas stations. Now, during the same time period, in the couple of decades after World War II, America was building and finishing its interstate highway system. Basically, America saw Germany's Autobahn in World War II and was like, oh, that's a good idea. We're going to win this war and then steal that idea, which is exactly what we did. Now, the problem at the time, or at least for Rob Evans, was this meant that people were going to be using these massive interstates to just cut right through the land, and they weren't going to be taking all the small highways that everybody used before, and this put a lot of smaller gas stations out of business. Rather than just slowly decline and go out of business and fade into nothing, Rob Evans said, okay, we've got this new thing. It's kind of cool. Massive highway, goes really fast. People are traveling further, faster. That's great, but it does have some shortcomings. These massive interstates don't cut right through the middle of towns like these highways did. And people that are traveling for hours on end are still going to need gas. They're still going to need food. And a lot of them are still probably going to want to pick up knickknacks and souvenirs to say, hey, I was in this place, like a shot glass or a magnet or whatever the fuck.
No, Dad, not that, please.
Here you go, sport.
So that's what he built. He built the first Cracker Barrel. It was a gas station slash restaurant slash souvenir store, and he slapped it right on the interstate in Lebanon, Tennessee in 1969. And to nobody's surprise, it was outrageously popular. It was the one-stop shop concept. You're driving down the road for 6 hours straight. You've got 4 more hours to go. Oh, look, there's one spot I can stop. I can get gas, dinner, and a souvenir. Perfect. Then I'm going to get back on the road. The entire concept kind of felt like a general store back in the Old West. Like, it doesn't matter what you're looking for. You have to go to the only store in town to get it. And if they don't have it, they'll order it. So that's what he kind of themed it after. He themed it after an old Western general store. And because of that, he decided to name it Cracker Barrel because back in the Old West, the general stores had barrels that were full of crackers.
Don't do that. Don't what?
Why are you winking at me?
From here, the business grew like wildfire, but the interstates were becoming, more and more of a thing. Gas stations were popping up. People were copying the same strategy. So he's like, gas isn't really making us that much money. We're going to drop the gas portion and we're just going to be a restaurant with this souvenir shop in it, but we're still going to be right on the interstate. And that is how we arrived at the Cracker Barrel that we all know today. It is a Western general store themed restaurant that serves Southern food and has a gift shop up front that is actually secretly evil, but genius at the same time. That little knickknack shop up front is responsible for 20% of Cracker Barrel's overall revenue, and they made like $3.5 billion last year, meaning they're moving like $700 million worth of knickknacks every single year. I know what you're thinking, how is that even possible? Because if you have a family and you go to Cracker Barrel, that gift shop is like a family-friendly version of the Saw movie.
Gary. What do you want? Oik, what?
You are completely surrounded by armed mousetraps.
There's a 15-minute wait at the restaurant. You now must stand inside of an old-timey toy store for 15 minutes with your small children and not be compelled to buy them a harmonica and a cap gun. Mission fucking impossible, okay? Sorry, I'm trauma dumping. Anyways, now we're in modern times. In 2023, they got a new CEO, Julie Masino, okay? Now, the CEO that she replaced was more or less shit-canned very politely. They didn't fire her, they accelerated her retirement plan. Okay, whatever, that's fine. They have a new CEO, this Julie Masino person. Is she an inside hire from the company that understands the culture and what makes the company successful? No, of course she isn't. We're gonna bring in somebody else that's an industry expert and they're gonna know how to fix everything, which never, ever works. But you know what? Maybe she's the exception. Okay, what's her background? Oh, she was the head of marketing at Starbucks. Not looking great, okay? You know what company doesn't need marketing? Starbucks. Have you ever seen a Starbucks commercial? Yeah, me neither. You ever seen a Starbucks ad? No, not really. Starbucks' business model is they're fucking everywhere, and do you want caffeine or not? The end. Being in charge of the head of marketing at Starbucks is like being in charge of selling ass candles to dogs. You can't fuck that job up. On top of that, Starbucks isn't even really trying to sell coffee. They're trying to sell gift cards so they can continue being the world's biggest unregulated bank, which I did an entire video on. We're not gonna get into it. After that, she was the president of Taco Bell, okay? That sounds like it could be pretty good, but I promise you, it's not. Okay, Taco Bell is owned by Yum Brands, and Yum Brands is a conglomerate that owns KFC, Taco Bell, and Pizza Hut, and that conglomerate is owned by Pepsi. Why does Pepsi own fast food restaurants? Well, because in the 1970s and the 1980s, when Pepsi was trying to become a major household name, they could not compete with Coke because every restaurant in America had Coke machines and nobody wanted fucking Pepsi. So Pepsi went and bought 3 major food chains to force them to have Pepsi inside of the restaurant so they could force feed it to people and convince them that Pepsi was better. Pepsi literally said, we have no reputation and no customer base. We're gonna buy 3 entities that have a massive following and we're gonna use that to force feed our product into people.
Put it in your mouth and just eat it.
God, I hate it.
I don't care whether you hate it. You said you do it.
Which means ultimately at the end of the day, all they care about is the restaurants breaking even, maybe. They don't give a shit if the restaurants do good. They just wanna sell more Pepsi. If so facto, all of her experience at being an industry expert is by working at a company that's fucking up to something other than selling good food to people, right? Starbucks is trying to be an unregulated bank and Yum Brands is trying to force feed people Pepsi. There's an ulterior motive. They don't really care how the company does. But Cracker Barrel doesn't have that. The only thing they're up to is strong-arming me into buying a harmonica for my 4-year-old so that I slowly go insane. So she comes in 2003 and is like, you know what we need to do to fix everything with this company that's been functioning just fine for the past fucking 50 years? We should absolutely change everything. We'll do exactly the same thing we did with Taco Bell. We'll take a logo that's awesome and retro and cool, and then we'll make a minimalist version with less colors that everybody fucking hates. Because every time somebody looks at a logo of a multi-billion-dollar company, they want to look at it and say to themselves in the back of their head, I wonder how much the graphic designer got paid because I could have done that shit on Microsoft Paint. And then we'll go inside to the restaurants, we'll strip all the cool shit off the walls, we'll paint everything white like it's a rental property, and then put half of the cool shit back up with little plaques that tell you what it is, so it looks like a museum exhibit. You know, the same exact thing that we did to Taco Bell. Look what they did to my childhood. Taco Bell used to be beautiful inside and out. It was absolutely fantastic. And now look at it. It's just a giant square blob of minimalist millennial gray bullshit. Modern Taco Bells look like they got designed by a middle-aged white woman wearing Ugg boots who got all of her ideas off of Pinterest. I'm legitimately surprised they haven't changed their slogan from think outside the bun to something stupid like live, laugh, love. Oh wait, fuck, they did that in 2012 because when you go to Taco Bell, you're supposed to live Moss now. I hate it. Oh, I hate it.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It's
Gets
gross.
the people going.
So, is Cracker Barrel gonna go downhill? Almost certainly. As soon as they announced this remodel and their rebranding, they lost 12% of their market share. $94 million just fucking erased from existence. And so far, the only response that Cracker Barrel has given out to enormous public backlash is to send the CEO onto the news to talk to Michael Strahan, an ex-NFL player that retired when I was in like 8th grade, but somehow still looks way younger than me. And she goes up there and has the balls or the ovaries, whatever, to look everybody in the face and gaslight us and be like, actually, people love the new design, despite the fact that nobody does.
Honestly, the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive that people like what we're doing. I'll give you another soundbite. The number one question that I got asked, Michael, was, how can I get a remodel? When can I get a remodel? How do I get on the list?
Oh, really?
So the feedback and the buzz is so good, not only from our customers, but from our team members.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever heard.
So I'm 90% sure that Cracker Barrel, as we know it now, is gonna die off in the next 5 years, but there's a 10% chance that this is the most brilliant marketing stunt of all time. Okay, hear me out. They've lost $94 million, sure, but that's all stock price bullshit, right? That's not real. It's not a realized loss yet, okay? It's all on paper. It's imaginary. It doesn't exist.
Never landed. It is no matter. It's not on the elemental chart. It's not fucking real.
In exchange for that 94 million imaginary dollar loss, they've gained hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of free publicity. When's the last time you heard about Cracker Barrel in the news? Fucking never. Cracker Barrel is the talk of the town right now. Buh! But it's all negative publicity. Buh! Yeah, sure, but haven't you ever heard the phrase, there's no such thing as bad publicity? Okay, they've done such a shitty job, it's almost perfectly shitty, okay? This isn't a catastrophe. There's a 10% chance that this is a controlled demolition on purpose. Okay, because here's the kicker. All the news articles are like, Cracker Barrel remodeled. Cool. They don't actually tell you that all Cracker Barrels didn't remodel. Only 30 of the 660 Cracker Barrels got a remodel. And if Cracker Barrel is smart, especially if they did this on purpose, they remodeled the 30 shittiest performing Cracker Barrels that they had that they were probably gonna have to close down anyways. So now they're out $94 million on paper and whatever it costs to remodel 30 Cracker Barrels. $10 million, okay? They're out $105 million, 10 of which is real, 94 of which is on paper. In exchange, they've gotten, I don't know, $500 million in free publicity, and now in the other 630 Cracker Barrels all over the country, people are gonna go, oh shit, that Cracker Barrel hasn't been remodeled yet. We should eat there one last time because this is our last chance before they remodel it. All of a sudden, Cracker Barrel has the best year they've ever had. All of a sudden, Cracker Barrel's stock price goes through the roof. Now they're not losing money on paper. They're probably making money on paper, and they've probably made enough to offset the amount they spent remodeling the 30 locations that they were gonna close anyways. They close those 30 stores down, and they carry on with business as usual. They change the logo back. They issue some corporate apology like, we've heard your voice, and we respect and value your opinion, and that's why we've decided to bring the old white guy back onto the logo. He's not gonna go to the island of misfit toys with Aunt Jemima and the Indian girl from the Land O'Lakes logo and Uncle Ben. No, he's gonna stay on the restaurant where he belongs.
You're goddamn right.
And we're not gonna remodel any more of the restaurants. Fuck America. The end. Okay, and I know what you're thinking. That seems like an awful lot to go through just to have one good year of sales. And I would agree with you, okay? But here is the reason that I'm giving this a 10% possibility. There was never an issue with Cracker Barrel's decor, okay? Nobody went in there and was ever complaining like, oh shit, this Cracker Barrel looks like a fucking Cracker Barrel, okay? You know what you're getting into when you go to Cracker Barrel. Nobody's complaining. If you go back to before this PR nightmare hit the internet, all of the complaints about Cracker Barrel were about the food quality, menu changes, and bad service, okay? Cracker Barrel didn't just remodel 30 locations, they also revitalized the menu across all 660 Cracker Barrels, including bringing back old favorites like Uncle Herschel's favorite. So presumably they fixed the actual issues that Cracker Barrel had, but the problem is with the restaurant, once you go there 2 or 3 times and you don't have a good meal, you're probably just never gonna go there again. So they needed to come up with a way to convince people to come back to Cracker Barrel one last time, to give them one last chance, to give them a good experience, and they could have staged this entire PR nightmare on purpose to do just that. And the added kicker, they get to spin the entire thing like, hey, we're the one company that listens to you guys. We're the one company that didn't sacrifice their legendary, well-known mascot and take him off the brand forever. No, we brought him back because you guys wanted him. We kept the restaurant the same because that's what you guys wanted. Cracker Barrel is an American institution, and we listen to you guys and we give you what you want, and then everybody loves Cracker Barrel and their new awesome menu. But like I said, I don't think they're that smart. I give it a 10% chance that that's actually what's happening, and there's a 90% chance that Cracker Barrel is just circling the drain and will be gone in 5 years. So there's that. Thanks for watching. All right, emergency update. Never really had to do this before, and like I said, that's probably because I don't like covering emerging trendy topics, but I guess here we are. Everything you've seen up until this point was filmed on the 24th, and it is now the 26th at approximately 7 o'clock Central Time, and I've just been informed via Twitter or X, whatever the fuck you want to call it, that Cracker Barrel has issued their corporate apology, and they're going to be keeping their original logo. Because of this, I will now be updating my prediction. There is no longer a 10% chance that this is an intentional marketing ploy. There is now a 50-50 chance that this is intentional. They're doing it on purpose, and if they are, it's absolutely genius, and if they're not, it's the worst idea I've ever seen in my entire life. Anyways, thanks for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch over at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang, out. If I'm right about this, I will, for the rest of my life, claim that somebody at Cracker Barrel headquarters saw my video, stole my idea, and saved the company forever. Probably not the truth, but that's what I'm gonna roll with. Oh, and don't forget to go check out World War III Supremacy. Use my link and code down below to unlock all the free stuff. Thanks for watching.